You're listening to Video Vila Podcast, Episode 8. Rocky, written by Sylvester Stallone and directed by John Avildsen. So today we're going to talk about Rocky 1, to be clear, because there is several, which is written by Sylvester Stallone and directed by John Avildsen. I don't know. Logan and I try to listen to the Google voice thing, and
is it Avildsen?
Yeah.
Avildsen. Yeah.
I don't know, but like the techie voice never sounds right, just like the GPS voice never hits the spot either. But today, as usual, it's your favorite couple, Becca, and then joining me is my husband, Logan.
Hello. Yeah, so you've seen Rocky before, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So coming from someone that watches movies, but usually it's like one-off movies, I feel like everyone has seen Rocky.
I do. Rocky is one of those movies where...
Maybe not all of them, but some of them.
Well, here's the thing, though. With Rocky, it's one of those movies where basically there's people that get it. And like when I say get it, I mean like understand the movie and the kind of quality the first one was, and even the second one.
Yeah.
But then there's people that just remember Rocky as the franchise, as like this action style boxing movies that have huge training montages, and it's they get kind of cheesy as they go on a little bit, but I think that's how Rocky's broken down. There's two individuals that have seen it. There's the people that recognize as the Academy Award winner Rocky, or the people that recognize when they think Rocky, they think more like Rocky 3.
Yeah,
which is when it kind of gets. Don't get me wrong, Rocky 3 is great, but the quality of movie,
it's a whole damn franchise.
Well, 100%. The whole quality of Rocky versus like Rocky 3 and Rocky 4. It's completely night and day different. Like it's a different feel. It's a different vibe. And I think the individuals who watch the movies and can like recall to the Rocky movies, like for example, when I talk about my mom a lot and we watch movies and stuff like that, my dad, and my mom, if she thinks about Rocky, she's going to think about the later years of Rocky. Her thought process when she thinks about Rocky, she's not going to think about the very first one because, there's not a lot there's not a huge amount of there is dialogue, don't get me wrong. But, the way Rocky's portrayed in movie 1 as throughout the franchise goes.
Yeah, there's definitely an evolution. And then you also have like a subset of those people that know all the Rocky movies and also have read the books. So
the Rocky books?
Yeah.
Are you sure about that?
I'm pretty sure. Google it real quick.
I don't think there's any Rocky books, babe.
I think the first movie was a book.
No,
Google it real quick.
No, it wasn't a book.
We're entering intermission. Google it real quick.
I know it's not.
I'll ask Siri. Is there a Rocky book? One moment. Yeah, there's a book series. Sucker.
Rocky was written by Sylvester Stallone, babe. He came up with the story.
What does that have to do with anything? Does you think people can't turn it into a book? Yeah, literally.
There might be books based off of the movies.
But yeah, that's what I'm just saying. There's a whole book. There's several books. I can buy them right now. But either way, so there's also people that, because the reason I was going to say is I have a friend, Nicole, that is super duper into Rocky, and she owns all the Rocky movies, and I'm pretty sure she has some Rocky books.
Okay.
If she would answer my text quickly, I'd ask her, but Google's much faster.
Okay. Well, the movie is not based off any kind of book.
Oh yeah, I wasn't saying it's about a book, but I'm saying like they had spin-offs of it and from after the movie was created and created literature from it.
I mean, there might be some fan fictional literature made or something like that, like, that's maybe not made up continuity to the books and stuff like that. But
how about this? I don't know if this is right. way back in 1977, hot on the heels of his 1976 breakout film hit Rocky, Sylvester Stallone wrote a novel, the powerful first novel from the star of Rocky.
okay.
I don't know. Someone can fact check me. I don't know how factual Google
All right,
is.
I'll give it to you.
But yeah, so either way, that's what I'm saying. There are some people that are like truly die-hard fans of Rocky. Like I said, my friend Nicole, she just like knows every single of the Rocky movies like by heart. And I also feel like that's very unique. I don't think I've ever met one other person that's like super into Rocky.
Oh, I love Rocky.
Like that.
I will say the one I watched the least, I would say, is Rocky 5. I think I've seen it total in my life twice.
Yeah.
And it's the only, and that doesn't mean it's not good, but like I think that's the only one I would say that I've seen the least amount of times. Which is the director. He directed the first one, and he directed the fifth one.
Yeah.
Stallone took over and did 2, 3, 4, and then came back and did Balboa.
Yeah.
Which I mean, you could tell you can tell those movies are different because when it goes back to 4, it's definitely a different movie.
Yeah.
What's called you can definitely notice some slight changes, but I will say 2 is definitely closer to 1. I think 2
I'm just shocked that they made so many Rocky movies.
Oh yeah, and then it goes into the Creed because we just watched Creed over the weekend. Creed 2.
Yeah, because or last weekend, whatever. But yeah, like it's kind of like Harry Potter, where it's like they just kept coming. They just kept making them.
Well, I mean,
Like,
they're going to keep on making them.
Well, yeah. I mean, now you have Creed. You have a whole different generation at this point. Just like the Harry Potter movies. Like I think they finally stopped, but I don't know.
Follow Harry Potter.
I'm not a Harry Potter person. But yeah, they just keep them rolling.
No, but the thing is like the first Rocky stands out so much. It's such a great. It's a great story. It's inspired by kind of like true events where it's basically there was like a fighter, Chuck Wimpner, and he fought Ali, and it was kind of like similar. Like he was considered a modest boxer at best, but yet he was fighting this champ, and yet for some reason, basically. The champ eventually knocks him out. I think like at the last round or the second last round. I can't remember, but like the inspiration came from like this guy who's kind of like a Joe Schmo took on the champ and just kept on coming after him. And the champ,
it's a come up of a underdog.
Yeah, it's definitely it's inspired. It's just an underdog story of a say not so super talented individual getting his chance and opportunity to get in the limelight, get recognized, and through that process, that individual can basically get better for themselves because now they have better opportunities because now people have seen them more.
Yeah.
If that made any sense. But which I think that's true and that continues the story of Rocky, I think, because like obviously Rocky should have never been there. He wasn't that great of a fighter. But he was given opportunity.
He was a good fighter in a sense that he could like get the shit beaten out of him and just still keep trucking.
Well, that's the thing is like this movie, oh my God, that fight, like he gets the literally shit beat out of him. Yeah. I mean, it's like he never covers his face.
Yeah, I mean, we'll touch on it more when we get to it because there was just some things where I'm like, what the heck?
Yeah, but like it's crazy because like when the movie came out, Sylvester Stallone wrote the script for the movie. He was trying to sell it, and which I didn't tell you when we were watching it, but he literally the dog Butkus, that's actually his dog.
That's such a cute dog. I like all dogs. But
well, get this. So
I like a chunky dog.
He couldn't afford to feed Butkus because obviously that's a large dog, eats a lot of food. Literally, so he had to sell Butkus because he couldn't afford to feed him.
He had to sell him?
Yeah.
For a second, I thought you were trying to say he had to sell his script so he could feed his dog.
No,
I'm like,
no.
Logan, you said that wrong. No, he straight up had to sell his dog?
Yeah, he sold his dog for $50. And once the script
$50, the $50 could have bought his dog some food.
He couldn't afford to feed the dog. That was the thing, babe.
find another $50 after that $50. Sorry, Sylvester Stallone.
But let me finish. Let me finish. But he ended up selling the script, and with under conditions of where he got to star in the movie, and then also that he would stay on as a writer without any additional pay as the movie went on, because they were trying to get like big name people to actually play Rocky. But when he sold his script, that was his one stipulation, that he had to star in, he had to be Rocky.
Yeah.
But when he sold the script, he went back and bought Buckus back.
Who did he sell him to?
I don't know. I don't know who he sold him to.
Can't come to the table without those details.
I don't have that. I mean, but yeah,
I'll talk to Siri later about it.
But yeah, that was cool, because I think like he had less than $100 in his bank account when he was dirt poor, and then he sold the script for like, they offered him $350,000 for it, and he declined that and basically said like, no, I this is like, I want to be in it.
Yeah.
And then the director agreed, and then when they went to the studio was like, okay, well, we want like Robert Redford, or like, oh god, there was a list of people they had. Robert Redford's the only one I can remember, because yeah, I can't remember who else was in it, but like the studio was like, oh, this guy Sylvester Stallone's going to be the character. He has no star power whatsoever. And they're like, okay, you were going to get a $2 million budget. Now it's a $1 million budget.
Yeah.
So with the producer and the director, I think they end up they got $1 million, cost $1,100,000, and they end up mortgaging their home. Or like took out a line of credit on their home to pay the extra $100,000. So that's kind of interesting. And then it became the highest grossing movie of 1976.
Yeah.
So you're talking about this movie that they didn't even want to give them $1 million for, was the biggest movie of that year. It won 3 Academy Awards: Best Picture, Best Director, and Best Film Editing. And it was all from this little script that Sylvester Stallone wrote. Yeah. It's crazy. Crazy.
I forgot what I was going to say.
That's a real Cinderella story right there. If you ever think about one, that one, that's the story behind it.
It's one of those situations where like hard work and the stars truly align.
Oh yeah,
I'm happy he bought Buckus back, but why? Whatever.
Hey, would you? The dog. He didn't want the dog to starve, so
no,
he's like, okay.
I mean, I understand that. I'm not saying like that, but.
But yeah, and then
he got the dog back.
Yeah, but then he put him in the movie and stuff like that. So it's pretty cool. It was also the first film, sports film to win an Academy Award for Best Picture. So that was really cool.
Achievement,
yeah, whatever. But yeah, I mean, it's this movie. It gets your blood going. Like, it's such a sweet story, but that when that music Gonna Fly Now kicks in, by Bill Conti, oh my god, like I love that song so freaking much.
Yeah, not only that, but I mean, obviously it's been years and years and years since Rocky 1 came out, or Rocky came out in general, and Logan and I went to the Art Museum of Philadelphia.
Oh yeah, I forgot to even talk about that.
Yeah, just right before winter time or whatever, in the fall.
I've never been before, mind you guys.
And
small town Tennessee. Dream come true.
Yeah, and it's not far from where we are, and still, like, to this day, like, people go there, they take pictures with the Rocky statue. People are like sprinting up the steps, doing like the Rocky pose when he makes his run up the steps. Like, it is eons later and people still
around the world, people around the world are there in Philadelphia, and it's like people are speaking all different types of languages and stuff like that are there to see the Rocky steps. And
we went there for 2 things: a Halloween event, cheesesteak, and the Rocky statue.
Well, that's 3 things.
Oh yeah, 3.
But I will say, okay, I will say
2 things and some food.
Yeah. Okay, I will say though, okay, there I've once we went there, I was kind of complaining to you about it, but where I guess there's a lot of negative indentation. I guess that's the right word I'm trying to say, but there's a lot of hate towards the people that go to the art museum for the Rocky statue and for the steps.
Oh, where'd you hear that at?
I was reading some articles, and one of the article was I was reading to like things to check out when you go to Philadelphia, and they say the art museum, and one of the part that made me so mad and irritated in the interview where it was like have some class, don't run up the steps like you're Rocky Balboa. It's embarrassing. I'm like, listen here, you turd. I grew up in a small town in Tennessee on a dirt road, 360-degree
Either way,
woods.
wherever Logan's going with this, he did not run up the steps. We walked up.
I didn't. That's not my. That's just not my forte. But,
I ain't eating shit on those steps.
But what I'm saying
you.
is, it's not your. It's don't yuck someone else's yum.
Yeah.
All right.
Stealing my saying.
Yes. I don't know if Becca came up with that, but she said it one time. I liked it, so I kept it. But the thing is I never thought a day I was going to be able to get out of my little small town in Tennessee and be able to make it all the way to Philadelphia and see the Rocky statue.
You made it all the way to ghetto, right outside ghetto Baltimore.
But I'm just saying, I never thought.
I get what you're saying. Yeah, those things are exciting, especially as
for
a childhood
small
movie
town
fan.
country boy like myself. Like I said, 360-degree woods. The only places I ever known was Florida, Tennessee, and the Gulf Shores or whatever. Like I mean, like literally, like I mean, I just stayed around the South. Never thought one day I'd ever see New York and stuff like that. So like when we went to, it was a really big deal for me. Like I had been a fan of Rocky since I was a little kid. I'm talking about. I remember on 4th of July, the USA Network would run Rocky marathons, and I would watch, me and my buddy Jim would stay on the phone and watch the entire marathon because we'd be out of school.
Well, yeah.
And we talk about the movies as we watch. I'm talking about like, that's 6 hours plus worth of watching because it was 5 Rockies out at that time, whatever. But whatever, like this was a big deal for me. Yeah. And I feel like people that grew up over there, and I understand where you can be like, all right, really, guys, come on. I can see that, but I will say, if you are one of those people, just think about the other individuals who haven't been so fortunate to live in an area like that.
Oh yeah, no, I see the balance. I mean, at the same time, though, so I've been to the museum. Like I've been to the museum and not the statue, and then the statue and not the museum, whatever. The museum's very nice and stuff, but it just has a very large attraction outside. I mean, I don't like. I think level-headed people probably really don't care, but I can also see where like there is the museum itself is very, very beautiful. And I can definitely see where people don't want that attention to be taken away from. But I'm sure there's people that go to the art museum and don't give a shit that the Rocky statue's on the other side. Like,
and
also,
I don't think it's any disrespect to the art museum itself just because people go there due to the film. I don't think that's any disrespect to the art museum because the art museum, like, as the much that we saw of it, yes, it's very beautiful. Yeah. Very beautiful on the outside. And that's the cool thing. Once you get up the steps, you get to see all like the columns and all the architecture on the top of it. It's very, like, it is a very nice looking museum, and I've been to a couple of museums. Babies. Yeah, but it's very, I mean, it is very nice, and I was still happy to be there for that too as well. Yeah,
and just in general, so if any of you get the chance to visit Philadelphia and you haven't, there's like really great Airbnbs in the art district, and it's just a very, very cool place to be around in general. You know, like any other place that has its areas that are off and things like that, but there is still a lot to admire when it comes to Philadelphia. So if you have the chance to visit, I would definitely say like book Airbnb, book a hotel, and go check it out. There's a lot of street art that's like very, very cool. The cheesesteaks are very, very good. And it's definitely worth going, and even seeing like the Rocky statue. And one thing I was not expecting when we went there.
The Hustlers? Or is that what you were going to say?
Yeah. You saw the wheels turn. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, get it. But I just thought it was a public. Okay, so
break it down for people they don't understand.
My forethought was that this was just like a statue, and you can walk up and take a picture of it, with it, whatever you want to do with it. And there's a long line, obviously. I think we went on like a Saturday or a Friday.
It was Saturday.
Yeah. And because it was after the Halloween festival. But yeah, so we're like waiting in line, and there are these two people, like one's taking pictures for like the people waiting for the statue, and then one's selling shirts.
Bootlegged. bootleg shirts
I mean,
that literally
get it.
screen printing from home on your LaserJet 3500
But either way,
HP.
get it. That I have no shame for, because I grew up near the light rail and people sell soap and stuff out of duffel bags. But
they also sell god awful
perfumes, yeah, hats, whatever. But so get the hustle, that's fine. But anyways, so I'm like, oh my gosh, Logan, like, do people actually like work this statue? Like, what? And then I got up there, I'm like, no, this woman is literally just standing here and like encouraging tips from people.
Oh yeah, she's sitting there with a fanny pack. She's like, and based off of like when you walk up, she's like, all right, give me, like, she takes like 8 different photos and tells you to like do different poses.
Yeah, and so like me and Logan can sit here and talk to you guys most likely all day, probably not, but for a good amount of time. But like I got up there, I'm like, Logan, I don't want her to tell us like what to do. I just want to take a picture with the I almost said poster, but with a statue. And literally, like, she started to tell me and Logan how to pose, and we just stood there.
You're like, no,
and didn't do
no,
anything.
thank
We're
you.
like, no, thank you. Just take the picture. Like, just take the picture. Thanks, though. And, but yeah, I mean, she was hustling. We paid her money because we're like, whatever. You're out here. You're helping everybody. Because I'm sure without that, people would stand there for. Because she was also telling people like to get the F out the way and move on, so other people could take pictures. So thankful for that, or else people would probably take forever. But yeah, I mean, you gotta not encourage the hustle, but at least support it.
Oh my god.
But that's not what I was expecting. And I grew up in Baltimore. There's people that hustle and do random things around here for money. But I genuinely thought they were like,
oh, we got because we got the squeegee boys.
Yeah, I mean, and the people in the light rail selling soaps and stuff. But and I mean, you go to like, I'm sure any stadium, like baseball games and stuff like that, there's people selling sports
100%.
gear and stuff
100%.
like that. But yeah, at first I thought they worked for the museum, and then I was like, wait a second.
No.
Hold on a second.
First off, they did not look like they worked for the museum.
Well, I ain't judging, but yeah. And then I will say, I think a lot of people on the step side of the building, like, they were there for that purpose, like,
yeah,
because the Rocky statue and the steps and things like that. And also, like, the doors to the art museum were closed on that side anyway.
Yeah, it was exits only.
Yeah. But yeah, so anyways, to sum that up, if you get a chance to go to Philly, definitely go see the Rocky statue.
Yeah.
And the art district in general.
Yeah, I think, what was it? Also, well, I asked a cop, like, I was like, hey, I want to get a good cheesesteak. He's like, well, you got to get out of the city if you want a good cheesesteak. And he was like, what was it, Docks?
I don't think we went out. Yeah, it's Docks.
Docks, that was good.
Steaks, but I don't know where it was, and we definitely need to get out of the city. We went to the heart of the city in an extremely questionable area.
Yeah.
But the cheesesteaks were bomb and huge for a good price, and they were a little rough around the edges, the people, but they were also very nice. So I'll take it. The food
there was a
good.
sign on the door that says no children under like 18 years old without an adult. Or something like that.
And then another sign said, know what you want to order. I'm like, I just want cheesesteak with everything, I guess. I don't know. But I mean, yeah, either way, the cheesesteaks were good.
So let's, you want to do a little Becca breakdown?
Yeah, anyways, back on task, if you just listen to this tangent about Philadelphia. Yeah, so to give a little breakdown about, I'm just going to call it Sylvester Stallone's Rocky, just since he wrote it, so it's obviously his storyline. So Rocky is Sylvester Stallone. He is an underdog boxer, and he boxes because he can't dance, he's not smart, and so what else does he have to do? Essentially is the way he puts it. So you follow him along into him being an underdog and him taking on a much bigger name fight to maybe get himself out there. Really, it's just something to do because in his mind, he's like, he has nothing else that he's better at. His side hustle, though, which eventually I think the guy that becomes his manager, I think he calls him a knee breaker or something like that. He essentially like gets money from people that are in debt.
Loan shark.
Yeah. But when the one guy's getting on to him, I think he calls him like a knee breaker or something like that. So that's his other side hustle along with boxing. And so the story takes you along his journey into his big league, TV fight, and as well as like a little love story and his just in general stress as he's trying to prepare to fight this big name boxer, which is Apollo Creed. And you see that whole storyline evolve. You see his love story evolve, and then you see also kind of the dips into his friendship and stuff with what's his name?
Paulie?
Yeah, with Paulie, because they kind of have some ins and outs, because the person that Rocky starts to fall in love with is also Paulie's sister.
Adrian, yeah.
Yeah. So that's the breakdown. That's the gist of it in like 2 minutes.
Yeah, like I will say, I don't know what it is, but like I've always been more fond of like Sylvester Stallone movies.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is about his movies. It's just like I've always enjoyed them a little bit more. Like growing up, being a 90s kid, it was always like the two biggest names was going to be Sylvester Stallone to little boy and Arnold Schwarzenegger. But I just I don't know, I just really enjoyed the Sylvester Stallone's movies more, and I have a connection with like Sylvester Stallone movies. I just like pretty much no matter where I'm at, if I see a Sylvester Stallone movie, regardless if I like it or not, I pretty much just buy it just so I can have it, because I kind of like, he has some stinkers, but he has some really good ones.
Yeah.
And he especially, I will say, like, one of my favorite movies of all time is First Blood, the very first Rambo movie. And Rocky and Rambo are on the same, like there is great acting in both of these movies.
Yeah.
People want to throw them in an action movie category, but if you go back, same thing with this, like the first ones of both franchises, they're just completely different movies.
Yeah.
Than what the franchise bleeds them up to being. Now, it's kind of course corrected, I would say, once we got into like Balboa and like the Creed franchises. It's kind of course corrected, so it feels more similar to like the first movie on par as far as like the kind of style of movie and the meaning and stuff like that. But this movie is just, if you watch this, if you listen to the podcast, I always say like fantastic or great, and it's just all those. It's everything. I don't know. It's just I really just love this movie. I don't know. I don't know what it's so inspirational. It's a hype movie. It gets your blood going. Like I said earlier, it makes you happy. It's a love story. I love love stories. It's not just a cliche boxing movie. It's so much more, and just the heart and soul in the movie. And there's so many like little scenes here and there that's so authentic. And then once you learn the backstory about him writing the movie and how like these little things happen in the movie, and how he kind of just rolls with the punches to rewrite the movie as the movie's
literally.
being
Pun intended.
as the movie's going on. So like it's when we started the podcast, I was like, well, we got to talk about Rocky.
Yeah.
And now we're here.
Yeah, that was definitely on one of the ones in the original list. We have a few, some that we've already done and some that we will do. But it's funny that you said Arnold Schwarzenegger, because the thing is, with Arnold Schwarzenegger, I don't even think about movies when I think about him. I think of like working out and bodybuilding.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but like I know.
Well, it's because
I know
he's Arnie.
Yeah.
It's like that's what got that was his golden ticket, was the bodybuilding.
Yeah, and that's like the only thing I relate him to. I like sometimes completely forget the fact that he is even in movies at all.
Well, there's nothing against Arnold Schwarzenegger, but Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sylvester Stallone are not even on the same playing level when it comes to acting and the kind of movies they have been in and stuff like that.
Yeah, but I really like Rocky. I will say though, like in my opinion, at least for the first Rocky, it's definitely like he plays the character that he wants to play. He plays the character that he wrote, and he's just a very quirky character.
Yeah,
like some of the stuff he says like makes me cringe, and I'm like, what is he saying? Why? What is he saying? Why is he doing that?
It's so great.
It's almost like, and I'm not even insulting him. He's a really, really great actor, but I feel like it would be like me if I tried acting, but he does it like 1,000 times better. But and I mean, I've never met him in person. I don't know how I would have. But it seems like he just acts just like a normal person. Like
It's authentic. It's authenticity.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's like Sylvester Stallone does this thing where like he's really good at not looking at the person who's talking to him.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, when I say it's like cringy and quirky, it's not where it's like bad acting and you're like, oh my god, this person's like creating a persona that doesn't even fit them. It actually like fits him.
No, like I said, it's authentic. It's authentic. Like it's like a socially awkward person.
Yeah.
And that is like
rough around the edges.
Rough around edge. Kind of slow. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I mean, he kind of it's kind of a little slow, a little bit. I don't know what the most PC word to say. I think slow is still fine to say.
Yeah,
I don't know. But anyway, it's and that's what makes you like the character. You know what I mean? Those things that you just pointed out is like that's why you can you have more of a I don't know what's the word I'm looking for, but you have like this. I don't know. Love for the character. I don't know.
Yeah. He embodies Rocky. Like he created something for himself, which is amazing. And it's to the point where you don't think, so just like how when I think of Arnold Schwarzenegger, I think of Gold's Gym, working out, seeing videos of him working out to learn how to work out and things like that. Just maybe being a female. And when I see Sylvester Stallone, I think Rocky. Rocky is Sylvester Stallone. Sylvester Stallone's Rocky. Nothing's ever going to change that. I couldn't even imagine. Like, for instance, like when you think of the Joker, you have certain people that you're like, that is the only person that should be Joker. And that's how I feel about Rocky. Like, I couldn't imagine anyone else being Rocky aside from Sylvester Stallone.
Well, let's see. Let's go ahead and get into the movie. I would say. So in our opening scene, we get our first little fight. Basically opens up with Rocky fighting in this kind of like very small ring. It literally looks like your local wrestling ring.
Yeah, kind of like an underground thing.
Yeah, and he's fighting Spider Rico, which is really cool because the Rocky franchise keeps up with these characters, and like in Rocky Balboa, when it opens up and he goes to Adrian's, and then when he goes to Adrian, there's a guy there, and he's like homeless or whatever, and the waitress is kind of like, "Hey, we got a so and so." He's like, "Oh, give him whatever he wants," and he's like, and you find out it's like Spider Rico.
Yeah.
Obviously, Spider Rico, things have not gone well for him. And Rocky has this big success, but Rocky gives him a job and takes care of him. And that's the thing is like, Rocky is a great person in this movie.
Yeah.
He's a good guy. Like, he is a very good, and we'll talk more about his like his character and stuff like that later in the movie, but like, he's a good person. That's another reason why you like him, because everyone likes a good person who seems genuinely good.
Yeah, I agree.
But yeah, Rocky basically is fighting Spider Rico, and the fight doesn't really seem like it's going in his favor, and it almost seems like he's kind of like, I'm not sure if he's like holding him back or whatever, but then Spider Rico basically headbutts him, and then he gets pissed. And
that someone headbutted him, because that's stupid. That's a cheap shot.
Oh yeah, 100%, and literally, you know,
Rude as shit.
And then basically that's when he takes it in his hands, like, all right, I'm done with this shit, and he puts him out and wins the fight, which I think he ends up getting like $41 after winning the fight.
Yeah, after like locker fees, fight fees, all that kind of stuff. He gets even less than like the other guy that's in the locker room with him. And that's another thing I wasn't expecting. Like, obviously, I'm sure fighters like pay money and stuff like that to fight. But I'm like, at first it was $75, and then the gym owner or whatever, the club owner's like, after this fee, after that fee, it looks like you're taking home $40 or $40 and some change. It's like, well, damn, that's a ripoff.
Which I know that I think if you look up at inflation, stuff like that, I think when we were watching that 70s show, I looked up inflation for like, what was it? Eric is buying Donna a bracelet for $60. And I think it was like the equivalent to basically like $100 or something bucks or whatever. So like $41, you know, I mean, that's, you know, $41 today, you know, that sounds like, you know, what, doing DoorDash for 2 hours or something like that. But that was not a good amount of money, but for the amount of pain and brutal and like the damage you put on your body, that's nothing. Because you know, obviously he didn't go to the doctor after that was all done. I mean, the doctor looked over him, but he ain't going to the doctor.
He said like the doctor
clinic.
will be here. Yeah, he was like the doctor will be in soon to check you out, and he's like, okay, whatever. And then what I also thought was funny, the guy in the background, what's the fighter's name in the background of the locker room?
Spider Rico.
Yeah. He just goes to sleep.
Which he shouldn't do.
It's like you were just knocked out and you're waiting for the doctor to come in and you're just taking a little nap. That's not what you're supposed to do.
Wait, did they disprove? I can't remember if they disproved that or not. Or they're saying like it's like you don't have to stay up for like 24 hours.
I mean, either way, I don't think you should get rocked in the head and then just take a little nap outside of passing out when you get rocked in the head. Yeah, just logistically here. Yeah, I noticed that. There's little quirks throughout the movie where you either listen to something and you hear a side comment or a grumble, or you're watching it and you see it and you're like, that ain't right. And as soon as I saw the guy goes to sleep, I'm like, I don't think you should be doing that.
But yeah, after that, it goes into basically we see him like heading home, and we get an atmosphere check basically where we kind of see where he's living and the kind of his door to door his daily life routine and stuff like that of kind of like he's not in a good part of town. He has a somewhat popularity. Some people like him. Some people don't like him. The people on the street corner that are singing doo-wop tend to like him. But we get, then we go back to Rocky's apartment, which is, he's very unfortunately slumming it. Jesus Christ.
And like, what's up with the mattress with the knife in it?
Well, the mattress on the wall is like a punching mattress. So they use punchings on it and stuff like that. And then he has a pull-up bar, if you notice.
Yeah, I saw that.
But okay, so the turtles, the turtles. So they bought the turtles for the movie.
Yeah.
And the last thing I could find is 2020, the turtles were still alive and still living with Rocky.
Oh,
with Sylvester Stallone.
He must really like animals.
I bet. I mean, I'm sure he probably does.
I love that. But yeah, and then he says hello to his pets, which we all should say hello to our pets when we come home. And his turtles are named Cuff and Link, and then he has a goldfish named Moby Dick, which Cuff and Link reminded me of The Nightmare Before Christmas, the kids where it's Lock, Shock, and Barrel. I don't know why, but...
Lock, Shock, and something, right? Isn't it?
Yeah, Lock, Shock. Oh, yeah, I think it's Shock. But Lock, Shock, and Barrel are the kids from The Nightmare Before Christmas.
Okay.
But as soon as you said Cuff and Link, that's for some reason what I thought about.
But yeah, so and there's little things like it's one of those movies. The more you gotta kind of watch it because he sits there and you see him mumbling something in front of the mirror, just mumbling, and then it cuts to the next scene where he goes to pay Adrian a visit, and he's basically practicing his little joke that he created he's practicing in the mirror, and then the next scene you see him say it in front of her. The whole he's got more moths and something like that, and he's like, so my turtle got choked on it, and so then I can't really do a Rocky impression, but he's like my turtle got choked
just
on
say
it. just to say it with my real voice. So they had to smack it on the back to get him to stop getting choked on the moth. And you know what he get? He got shell shocked. It's a horrible joke.
Yeah, it's like those little things that are quirky, or I forget who comes and visits his place. I think it's the manager guy, like
Mickey.
Mickey. And he's like, "That's Cuff, that's Link, and that's some marbles." Like, obviously, those are just marbles at the bottom.
No, that's he says that to Adrian. He's like, "This is Cuff and this Link, and that's some marbles."
Yeah.
And he's like, "You remember these? You remember these? I bought
you
these."
You sold me them. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's just like, honestly, I find it hilarious because that is how Logan talks to people. It's like, thank you. I'm well aware that those are marbles inside with the turtles and that I sold them to you.
Oh, God, this movie's great.
But yeah, it has quirky things like that where he just says silly little weird things. And then also it helps that, like, right off the bat, you can see that Adrian's a little bit more reserved and quiet.
And she evolves as the movie goes on.
And the thing is, like, besides like the banter and stuff, Rocky is the same. Like he's kind of more to himself. He tries to stay like undercover a little bit, it seems. Like he likes the idea of boxing.
Well, he's a talkable person, but he keeps
to himself in general.
Yeah,
like he can talk versus Adrian, like just seems kind of like scared of everything, like super recluse.
She's you as a child.
Yeah.
Yeah, the child version of Becca would just like get scared of, want to hurt anyone's feelings and just want to.
Yeah, and then I grew up. Now I hurt everybody's feelings willingly.
Oh, what was that one that, like, for people who don't know Becca, what was the one joke I was saying where it's like if you don't know Becca, think about a scenario where like there's two guys and they're messing around with each other and they're swapping licks. Okay. Like one punches one guy in the shoulder, the other guy punches the other guy in the shoulder and they're like, oh, they're laughing or whatever. Becca is like, you punch her in the shoulder and then she kicks the legs out from underneath.
Surprise. But yeah, so Adrian's much more to herself, and she works at this little pet store. And you can also see back to Rocky liking animals and stuff. He's heading home from the Fight Club or the bar or something.
Well, he's heading home from he walks by the pet shop and plays with the little puppies.
Yeah, and he's whistling at the puppies in the window, which I don't support puppy shops, but it was a very cute scene.
It's a different time too. That was the 70s. Things were a little bit different then. But yeah, and then we get to see Butkus because that's where we see him first inside. In the smallest crate, that big old dog is in the smallest crate. But then we kind of goes into like his normal routine life.
Yeah.
So he heads basically, I guess you would say, into work.
Yeah, it's like the docks or something.
Yeah, so he's basically...
Or a construction site.
He works as like a debt collector, basically, like, for a bookie named Mr. Gazzo. And he meets up with a dude. He's like, hey, I need your money.
Well, first the guy tries running from him.
Yeah. Where are you going? Where are you going?
Yeah.
And he's got that stick and he's just, like, what's this guy doing? He's just playing with a stick. And then all of a sudden he just starts chasing this guy. You're like, oh shit, what's he doing? And it's so funny because like, he's like, obviously this is not his forte. And like I said, Rocky is a good person and he doesn't want to break the guy's thumbs.
Yeah. And he tells him, he's like, I'm gonna break your thumbs if you don't give me the money. If you don't come up with the money, and he's like, I'll come up with it. I'll come up with it.
Take my jacket. Take my jacket. And he's like, and he's so. The guy understands that Rocky's giving him a break. And he's not going to break his thumbs. And he's like, I'll take my hand up to make it look like it, whatever. I'll do whatever it takes, Rocky. I'll have the money. I'll have the money. And Rocky obviously doesn't want to do it. So he walks off, and he's like, you better have the money. And then later it cuts to like him being with Mr. Gazzo, and he basically has to have a conversation with him. He's like, I'm running a business here.
Yeah.
And I can't have you, as my muscle and you not following through because people are going to think I'm weak. And that actor, Joe Spinell or whatever, the guy who plays Mr. Gazzo, he's actually a very good actor. Like he, co-wrote one of the best, like, I don't know if you want. I guess it's a slash one, like one of the best slashers of the 70s is Maniac.
Yeah,
it's fantastic. It is definitely, when it comes to like horror movies and like slashers, I think it's top tier when it comes to like the quality of a slasher movie. It's a character study of just an insane person and his issues with his mother, and he takes it out on women. It's like a really good look at like the mind of a serial killer.
Yeah,
it's fantastic movie. He's such a good actor in that movie.
Yeah,
and he does great in this movie. He's phenomenal. But during this scene where he's like, I don't know if you were paying attention, but like where he's getting really pissed off at Rocky, and you see him pull out his inhaler, and he takes off his inhaler. Well, that was real. That was his real inhaler. He was starting to have an asthma attack. It ain't
easy being wheezy.
Well, he was starting to have an asthma attack in the shot. And the thing is, to my understanding, like they didn't have like $1 million to shoot this film was not a lot of money, to be honest. And they
didn't have time for breaks.
They didn't. They really didn't. There's a lot of scenes in this movie that were shot guerrilla style with no permits and just a camera running, which is a camera on the back of a van and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So they were gonna. He was worried that they were going to have to like cut it and reshoot it, but the director really did like the authenticity, of like how it almost gave the guy kind of a character.
Yeah.
And so they left it in the movie, which I think is really cool.
Yeah. So following that, so you get the glimpse of Mr. Gazzo, you get the glimpse of Rocky's real job. Like fighting obviously is not his quote unquote job. But he heads to the gym and he finds out that his locker after 6 years has been changed. Well, the lock on his locker has been changed.
Yeah.
And he is like, he's not happy about that.
He's really upset about it.
And so the thing is, just picking up little personality things about Rocky, he seems like his routine. He does a lot of the same things over and over and over again, which I stand with that. So he's like, what the heck? Like, I don't have my locker anymore. You put a lock on my locker. And I think does he go to Mickey about it eventually? I think he's like...
Yeah.
He confronts Mickey about
it. He complains to the little guy, and the guy's like, well, you got to talk to Mickey or whatever.
Yeah.
And then when he goes to talk to Mickey about it, he's like, it's Dippers now.
Yeah.
Well, let me do that again. It's Dippers now. I can't.
No.
Let me stop.
Rather not. But yeah, so that really bothers Rocky, like to the point where he even goes and like continues to complain about it. I think to either Paulie or Adrian.
Well, he brings it up, yeah. In the
he brings it up multiple times. Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
And the later I wrote it down so we can talk. Like I was the later in the scenes, but yeah, like it's upsetting because man, he's been there like. The more you get to learn the character, like Rocky has been going to that gym for a long time. And it seems like he's actually been going to the gym longer than 6 years. Because after another conversation, he says 10 years. So in the last 6 years, he's had a locker, but he's been going there for even longer.
Yeah. And you also get some insight. So he has a run-in with Mickey, and Mickey pretty much says that he's like not a fan of Rocky because of what his job is. But the thing is, Mickey's issue is he sees potential in Rocky, and he knows Rocky could be a good fighter and could really make something out of himself through boxing.
But he's never made it. Here's the thing: he's never made it
outside these little underground fights.
Well, I mean, he's never made that point to Rocky. He's never said that to Rocky till
this is like his own hidden agreement where he's like, I know I don't like Rocky because what Rocky does, he calls him like a knee breaker or something like that. And he calls him a waste of potential, essentially. Yeah.
And then it's, obviously we figure out, at that moment in time, just Mickey is not a fan of Rocky.
Yeah.
So he ends up leaving the gym and he heads back to the pet store to pay Adrian another visit. And basically it's closing time or whatever, and basically Rocky's going to offer to walk her home.
Yeah.
She declines it. She's not she's still like, she doesn't really say anything to him. Like, she's very standoffish. But yeah, he is very persistent.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But Rocky makes his way to the bar where he's going to meet up with Paulie with the first time.
Yeah, and so this is a normal kind of like dive bar-ish scene.
Yeah.
And you see while they're hanging out at the bar or whatever, you see Apollo Creed on the TV fighting. So
which Rocky's a fan. He's a fan of Apollo. He understands he's the champ. He understands he's the best in the world at that moment in time.
Yeah, which I also wanted to note, like, throughout the movies, this whole like bar or restaurant or whatever and watching fights on the TV is kind of like a trend.
No, yeah. I mean, Adrian's, and then there's like in the Rocky Balboa, they're all at the bar. They're watching like a sports center.
And even
kind
like
of thing.
Creed, when he chooses not to go to the fight, but he's watching it at the bar.
Yeah, he goes to that cheesesteak place. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's little things that they carry on to a T or whatever, trends that they carry on through the whole entire franchise or all the different movies and stuff.
As Sylvester Stallone continues to help write, I think the only thing that he didn't, I think was it Creed 3 was the first time he hasn't anything really to do with the franchise.
Yeah.
But it's funny because also you don't know who he is, but he picks up a guy outside the street that's passed out and brings him into the bar. But that's Lloyd Kaufman.
Oh, that's funny.
The guy from Trauma, and stuff like that. So
That's funny.
It's I didn't know that. I had no idea, but I watched a Lloyd Kaufman documentary. And he was like, that was my first job ever in show business. I worked on Rocky. And then he's like, that's me, that he picks up and drags into the bar. He's like, the outside of it was filmed in Philadelphia, and then the inside of the bar was filmed in California.
Yeah. So then Rocky leaves the bar essentially and he's heading home, and he goes past the corner store and he sees these like hoodlums outside smoking cigarettes, drinking out of a brown bag. And he finds Marie, which Marie, I guess, lives in the same building as Rocky. And Marie is a young girl, and she's hanging out with the guys. She's cussing with the boys.
She's smoking a cigarette. Well, I swear to God, she's like 10 years old.
Yeah, smoking a cigarette. And Rocky pretty much like yoinks her up and is like, "What are you doing?" And he lectures her about how like no guys are gonna like you. You're not gonna get a boyfriend if you're acting like one of the guys. So you're cussing with dirty mouth, smoking cigarettes, doing all that kind of stuff. And then he nonchalantly tries to be like, girls that do that are whores, essentially. And it's like, whatever, wherever you're going with this, Rocky. And Marie starts to act like she's like listening to him, and she's like, okay, yeah, huh. And then she gets up to her door or whatever, and she turns around, and what'd she say? F you or?
Yeah, it's like, I don't think so.
Screw you, Rocky.
Hey, Rocky, screw you.
Yeah, and it's like, girl, you were just acting like you were listening to him. And then he kind of like huffs and puffs and walks away. He's like, no, why do I even bother helping people? And
no, he just basically just like, it's that like, he has the best, if you have kids, you understand, but he has like the best, like, I give it, it's the impression of when you're getting onto a kid. And it's just like them, like, kind of like they hear you, but they're just not thinking about the words that they're saying.
Yeah, and they just turn around and do the same damn thing. And you're like, why'd you just do that? Literally. Am I just talking to myself here?
But yeah, it's like, it's so like this, it sucks because like I said earlier, there's like people that are Rocky fans in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
And there's people that aren't Rocky fans. People think he's a bum. People actually like him. But yeah, the scene moves forward, and we basically find out that, Apollo Creed's current opponent is not going to be able to make the fight, and they're scrounging around and trying to find a new opponent. And what they're saying is the amount of time that they have to get someone ready for the fight is not long enough. I think 6 weeks. I think it is. It's not enough time.
Yeah.
And everyone else who is a possible candidate, they make words of like, they're scared to fight the champ because he's so freaking good. And like, and at that point in your life is like, if you haven't been training for months to fight someone, you're not going to take a loss by going against the champ, because your record's a very big important thing, like especially individuals that are boxers that really care about their record. Like, it is like, you pick your fights wisely.
Oh yeah,
and you spend time to fight that individual, and no one's going to pick up a fight on like, only 5 weeks notice to fight someone who's very highly skilled.
Yeah, like they're not prepared
to do it, and just to walk up there and maybe get lucky and knocking them out, or more likely not get lucky.
Yeah, no, it's definitely that's just the name of the game, and I feel like just playing wisely is to pick
it's very
equal
strategic
opponent or a lesser opponent.
But basically that's where Apollo comes up with the idea of giving a underdog the opportunity. And it's not really set. It's kind of like, if you watch the movie, you kind of understand. It's more like a show. It's kind of like, we're going to give them a show. And the thing is like,
which also like, yes, boxing is real. Like there's obviously ones that are more show, like there's so many different televised versions of fighting, but like really at the end of the day, it all is a show. So like, you know what I mean? So you have WWE, which those are like stunts and things like that. And that's definitely a show with scripts and stuff like that.
But it's real.
Yeah, it's real. But then you also have like, MMA and boxing and things like that on ESPN, where like that's also real.
Well, that's real
but that's
contact.
also still, but that's also still like a show in a sense.
Yeah.
It's
Like,
entertainment.
I was like,
Who
wrestling
doesn't like
is
watching
real.
people get the shit beat out of
Yeah,
them?
wrestling is real, and it is real
Trust
contact.
me, I know that's not a fight I'm having with you. You are a WWE fan today.
I'm just saying, wrestling is real. It's a very well respected sport. It is a sport. It's an endurance sport because it takes endurance to do it. I will give it all the respect that it deserves.
Ain't no one disrespecting it. You can slow your roll.
Well, okay, whatever. But anyway, so yeah, they end up looking through the book. They find Rocky, and they're looking for like that underdog, to give them a chance for the show. And he is all showman. He's a big showman. He is like, a Colin McGregor, or like, he is he's a big mouth, like a Mayweather. Like he's a, don't get me wrong. That means like he's a very likable person. He is a likable person.
Yeah.
Like when you watch the interviews with him, Carl Weathers does a fantastic job. Fantastic actor. And that's another thing, is he is a classically trained actor. But the thing is, he is shredded as fuck. He looks like freaking Michelangelo's David, but yet he was an actor. He wasn't like an athlete. Well,
Yeah.
don't get me wrong. Don't quote me on that. But I can't remember if he actually did play some sports. I can't remember but I do know he was a classically trained actor when he got this role. But he was also a very well in shape individual.
Yeah.
Which he stayed in shape for most of his life. He's older now, so obviously he's not, as muscular anymore. But he's a very, very, very well casted character for this role.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And then we see basically Rocky gets dropped off at his house from his boss, Mr. Gonzo. And Mr. Gonzo, like, I love that character so much in this movie because he shows up he shows up like 4 times in the movie. And it's just, he takes care of Rocky. Like, you can tell he cares about Rocky.
Yeah, I definitely agree that Mr. Gazzo takes care of Rocky and everything. So he gives him money because he knows him and Adrian are going on a date. And
He's like, how do you know that?
Adrian.
He's like, I hear things. You don't think I hear things?
So obviously, like we said in the background, Apollo's trying to sort out a fight. He picks like, okay, I want this guy. I want Rocky, essentially. And while that's all going on, Rocky is out in his own world, going on a date with Adrian. And pretty much Rocky is like going home with Paulie, like following him home to pick up Adrian, because Adrian is Paulie's, I guess, like little sister, essentially.
Yeah, I guess I can't remember if it's his little sister or big sister. I think it's little sister or whatever. But yeah, it's also like it's Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And B, well, A, it's Thanksgiving, and B, Adrian is not aware of this date.
Yeah. So that's one thing that I noticed like throughout this whole thing. So they essentially go on a little date after Rocky pretty much like begs her, convinces her to go, and then they go ice skating for the last like, couple minutes or whatever. The ice skating rink's open.
Oh, it's not even open. That's the thing. It's closed.
Oh, yeah. I thought they were about to close, and the guy's like, I'll give you a few minutes.
No, it's completely closed. And then he's like, he gives them money to give them 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And so this scene's pretty cool. Okay, so this scene, they originally were going to have 300 extras be there, but then they found out that they didn't have the budget to pay for 300. Remember, the budget got cut in half. It was going to be a $2 million movie. They only gave them $1 million. But what basically when they showed up, to their surprise, to Sylvester's surprise, like, oh no, we only could afford one extra. Mm-hmm. So then that's when Sylvester Stallone came up with the ideas. Okay, he basically rewrote the scene.
Which I like it the way it is. I think.
Oh, it's one of the most memorable.
With how their characters are, it was fitting for it to just be like an empty ice skating rink.
Yeah.
And again, Rocky tries like so hard to like flirt and like hit on Adrian and be silly and stuff, and she's like not feeding into it. Like, he makes some joke about his finger.
His finger being broken and stuff like that, which his finger is broken. That's why it bends back far like that. So yeah,
he says that Adrian broke it or something like that.
He makes a joke where he's like, "Oh, my finger," and whatever, and he shows it to her and whatever, and she's like, she screams or whatever. She's, "Oh, that's just a joke. It's not really broken."
Yeah.
It is broken. I broke it a long time ago, but no, you didn't do that.
But yeah, and then they so obviously the janitor or whatever is like, all right, time's up. He gives them several warnings. And
oh my God, he keeps every minute. 2 minutes. 3 minutes.
They're closed. I would want to go home too.
I get it, but
I love, but I also like getting off work. But so then Rocky and Adrian are making their way back. They're kind of like walking their way home, and they make it to Rocky's place, and Rocky's trying so hard to get Adrian to like come upstairs, and she's like not having it.
It's so cringeworthy watching this now.
Yes.
In today's time. Oh my God, he's so persistent.
Yeah, it's uncomfortable.
It's very uncomfortable.
So eventually, Adrian, like I made note when we were watching this, like the other night, because we knew we were going to review it. It's fucking weird. Stop being so persistent. And like, I feel like being a girl, we've all been there, sadly, not that we should ever be, but he's like trying to get her to stay, trying to get her to come sit on the couch, which mind you has a bunch of beer bottles in the back of it, and keeps saying, well, just come sit down. She's just like hovering by the door.
Yeah.
And he's just so freakishly persistent. It's like that Christmas song.
It's cold outside, baby. It's cold outside.
Yes. No.
I really can't say, baby, it's cold outside.
Yeah, like.
I really should
go. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, stop. Like, what is he doing? And both people, Rocky and the person in Baby It's Cold Outside. What are you doing? That life should not be like that. But anyways, obviously Adrian's like maybe kind of into it, because then they start like making out and they date and everything. And maybe she was just super shy. But either way, it's weird.
It is weird. I will say it is weird.
That's my lecture.
But hey, it was a different time, and
it shouldn't happen then. Shouldn't happen now. It shouldn't happen in the future.
She stayed there and just made the choices to stay, and they end up turning into a lovely relationship.
Yeah, but in general, the moral compass of it is don't do it. Shouldn't have did it then. Don't do it now, and don't do it again in the future.
All right. You done?
Yes. I've been planning for 48 hours to make that statement since we watched it.
So then we get a look at Rocky's new opportunity. Rocky heads back to the gym and finds out someone from Apollo's office has left a card, and they're looking for a sparring pot. Well, the message that was left was saying they're looking for a sparring partner for the champ. And so that's what Rocky thinks. He heads to Apollo Creed's office and meets with his secretary, and he ends up, I guess it's the fight promoter guy. I can't remember his name or whatever. And he's like, I really do think that I'd be a good quality candidate for the champ. I won't take any cheap shots. I really respect the champ. I think I would be a really good sparring partner. And he's like, Mr. Balboa, it's not a sparring job. This is an opportunity to fight the champ.
The way that guy talks just makes me want to like, pull my head through the wall.
He goes, oh, well, in that case, I'm not interested. He's like, you're not interested in fighting the champ? Whatever.
Yeah, like, so essentially they're just really trying to sell Rocky on it. And Rocky's kind of like, no, I'm good. Like, I'll spar with him. I don't need to be up there in a big fight, this, that, and the other.
So, in this scene, basically, it cuts to, I guess, based off their conversation, that he does agree to it. And then it cuts to him and Adrian and Paulie are sitting in their couch watching his interview at the TV. Where he agrees and there is a little press conference or whatever. And it does.
Which him on TV reminds me of the little boy that's like, I like turtles. That's what Rocky reminds me of in all these interviews.
That one, the little short redheaded kid. He was like, apparently I've never been on TV before, and apparently, the one I'm talking about with all the freckles. There's
another one where it's this little boy, and she's like, she asks him, I think, like how his day was, and he's like, I
Oh,
think
he starts
says
crying?
good. Yeah, he starts crying. I'm like, that's me.
Oh God. But yeah, it's funny because we see the little review and stuff like that. And they start taking like kind of like slow key jabs at Rocky or whatever. And Paulie starts to get defensive or whatever.
Yeah.
And Rocky's like, "Oh, don't bother me. Whatever. It's not a big deal. It doesn't bother me."
Which
And-
also, sidebar, like, and I didn't really point it out until later in the movie, or like middle of the movie, was that Paulie is like definitely a drunk.
oh yeah.
And it seems like it gets worse. Like it's you kind of see him like drink a little bit, and he's a little weird and whatever, and he's still a little weird, but he's Rocky's best friend. And then eventually he's like just running
Well, he's
amok.
he's that friend where it's like that one person who's always kind of I'm not saying looking for a handout, but it's that one individual that is always pestering you for like low key they're pestering you for something that you know that like, hey, you wouldn't be good at this, and they're kind of like because he keeps on trying to he wants Gazzo to give him a job as kind of like a loan shark, and like he's like,
Yeah.
you're out of shape, you don't know nothing about fighting, how would well,
Yeah.
you don't. This isn't your forte. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because that happens a lot throughout the movie, and they kind of put some tension between him and Rocky or whatever. But
I mean, also maybe the fact that he's dating his sister, but
well, he does. Well, he's trying to set him up with his sister.
true, because he wants to get her out of the house.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
he has to take care of, like, she can't live on her own, this, that, and the other.
Yeah. But yeah, so he during the interview process, it's kind of cool because we got to see him like he calls out to Adrian or whatever.
Yeah.
and it's so cute.
And he's like, "Did you like what I did there?
Yeah.
Did you like what I said on TV?"
Yeah. But anyway, so he ends up leaving, and then this was a big scene that apparently was very important for Rocky. Sylvester Stallone. When he leaves, he really wanted that to let you know, like, when people say these things about him, it really does hurt his feelings.
Yeah.
And Sylvester Stallone was very adamant about putting that in the movie, and the director didn't want to put it in the movie or whatever. Or somebody, I can't remember if it was the director or whatever, and he was like, "I know, I really need this scene. I really need this scene." And they're like, "All right, you want the scene so bad, I'll give it to you, but you get one take." And that's the scene that we got is that one take.
Oh, nice.
And I think he was very important for the character's development to understand, like, no, like, it's not sticks and stone don't break my bones. Words will never hurt me. You know what I mean? It's not like that. Like, words do hurt.
Yeah.
And he's not in what you
The fact that you said that.
Hey, it's true.
Valid.
It is
valid.
hey, regardless if you learned it in the first grade and learned it as a
Or today when Logan said it.
hey, it's true. It's true.
Yeah, I hear you.
But words do hurt.
Uh-huh.
Whatever.
So I take back what I said earlier. Just kidding.
But yeah, so then we get another scene later where we're like, we see Gazzo again. Mr. Gazzo meet up with Rocky at a cheesesteak place or whatever, and he ends up like, he's like, "Hey, I hear you're fighting the champ." He's like, I think he gives him like $500 or something like that. It's a shitload of money. And he's like, you're training, I'm going to take care of you.
Yeah.
And once again, I love that. It's a small character, but I love that character in the movie.
Yeah, he looks out for the guy that looks out for him, essentially.
Yeah, just because this guy is a bookie or whatever, he doesn't mean he's like a bad person. He is trying to take care of Rocky.
Take your thumbs if you don't give him your money, but no big deal. I feel like we all would if we could. But
oh, it's also funny. He pulls the cigarette out of his mouth, which he actually Sylvester Stallone stopped smoking for the movie because he kept on getting out of breath while training for the movie, and he was just like, "All right, I can't smoke and be this character because there's too much training involved."
Yeah. So then in the next part we get is more interaction between Mickey and Rocky. So you go from Mickey not even liking Rocky, he thinks he's a waste of talent. He gave his locker away.
Yeah.
And now Mickey is pretty much like begging for Rocky or trying to convince Rocky that he needs him as a manager.
Yeah,
like,
it comes
Rocky
all the way
needs
to his
Mickey
house.
as a manager.
All the way to his house, like, and I like at that point it's like, I'm sure like Mickey knows where Rocky lives due to paperwork for the locker and stuff like that, gym membership. But this isn't like something like Mickey's never like showed up to just Rocky's house
and
before.
he tries to convince him so much that he like pulls out a picture of himself out of his pocket. And Rocky's like, "Yeah, you get that picture in really good good condition there, don't you? And it's like weird. Obviously, he like set everything up because he was ready to sell himself. Like he's trying to sell himself to Rocky as, you know, I'm the manager you need. Let's work this out together. And Rocky says the most petty thing, which I love, which he's like, I got heart, but I ain't got no locker. He is so fixated on this locker. The fact, I guess, you feel disrespect. You've had this locker for 6 years, and then they freaking get rid of it and give it to someone else.
Well, here's the thing is, Rocky makes it prevalent. He's like, I needed you. And the thing is, I've made it known that I need you.
Yeah.
And you haven't given me the time of day.
Yeah, essentially.
And now he's got this shot and this guy who he's wanted as a mentor.
Yeah.
To help mentor him, who has not done that whatsoever. And now you're here because I've got this shot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's where you're building me up like, you got heart. I got heart, but I ain't got no locker.
Yeah.
I'm saying that.
I get it. It was so deeper than that, but yes. I'm like, yes, like I'm that level of petty. You're right. You don't have a locker. How absolutely absurd. And then ultimately, like, Mickey just gets Rocky, like, really, really worked up and, like, hot and bothered. And ultimately, Rocky's like, get out, leave. And he's, like, yelling at him all the way down the steps, like, just...
All improvised, by the way.
Yeah.
This scene right here, all this was improvised. They just kept the camera on Stallone, and he just went with it. And
also, so he's like freaking out, and essentially like Mickey's like, okay, I'll leave, whatever. He walks out essentially, and at this point, like there is no agreement. Like Rocky doesn't agree for Mickey to be his manager or anything like that.
He starts going off, and this funny thing is like, I'm telling me 9 times out of 10, tell me you're in an argument with somebody. And later that person's gone, and this is just like all those things that you wanted to say to that person in your head.
That's me in the shower after I fight with people.
Yeah, 100%.
I have shower fights with people that aren't there all the time.
Yeah, it's like yeah. So well, what about this and what about that? Yeah. And you're just like, man, like you're just like, oh man,
shower fights are my favorite.
And you just think that you could just walk in here and hey, what about my feelings? Blah blah blah. And like 100%, everyone. And if you haven't had that in your head, you're lying.
You're not normal. We're normal. That or like car fights with people. So like there's one thing about me and driving is I hate everyone else on the road. And I'll be driving and I'm like, I have like if someone pisses me off on the road, I have theoretical imaginary fights with them in my head the rest of my drive. But yeah, the shower thing, and that's essentially like Rocky just like cuts loose. Like no one's even there anymore, and he's still like fighting with Mickey inside of his head, like letting those feelings out. It's realistic.
I mean, like no offense, but like that's real. Like 100%. I 100% have had a scenario in my life multiple times. Me just like Rocky.
Yeah, or even like if someone's fighting with you and they walk out, and you're just screaming town because now they pissed you off because they walked out, and you're like, you shit. Now you don't get to be here to listen to me yell about you, but I'm still going to yell about you. So you get a really intense moment because outside of that, like Rocky seems pretty level-headed. Like he's not mean, 100%. He's not aggravated, he's not on edge. He's pushy with the ladies, specifically Adrian. But other than that, he's the go with the flow kind of guy. Yeah. And this is the first time where you're like, oh wow, like this is like some pent up stuff that Rocky's like really upset about.
But then we see him chase after Mick. Yeah. And then it starts playing. Like through the entire movie, there's the gonna fly now, but it's played to different levels. Yeah, and it's like dun, 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 like
give us a soundtrack.
This song is I love, and which has became a TikTok sound.
Yeah,
like like the oh Lord.
Yeah,
and then it's like plays. I don't know what the "Oh Lord's" from, but whatever. But like that little noise, whatever. Like he puts on a record in the movie, and Rocky puts on a record, and it's literally that the theme to Rocky's playing on a record earlier in the movie or whatever. But anywho, basically we can tell from the conversation, Rocky's got all that pent up rage out, and now he's like puts his arm around Mick, and obviously. We understand that there's some type of mutual agreement here.
Yeah.
And now it gets into the training. We get
the most inspirational part of the movie.
We get the opening scene. Well, not the montage yet, but the beginning of the training process. We get the famous raw egg scene. I mean, to this day, I've drinking raw egg whites, but I have never swallowed a raw egg before, a completely raw egg. I am scared of getting salmonella.
Yeah, so after I first met you and you drank egg whites, I had drank egg whites because I'm like, yeah, I mean, I guess that's an easy way to get your stuff in without having to cook them. So I like got my own egg whites, not egg beaters or not like a carton of egg whites, just whatever, separated myself. That's foul.
Well, I have not done that. I've done the egg beaters are pasteurized or whatever. Well, first
either
off,
way, you left some details out.
Egg beaters are disgusting.
So I went home and just separated my own eggs.
Oh no, liquid egg whites.
Foul.
Liquid egg whites taste like milk. It tastes delicious.
And the thing is, you told me, you're like, yeah, they just taste like milk. I'm like, okay. So I literally like went home and like later that week or something, I'm like, dang it, I really got to eat some eggs or whatever And I'm like, but I don't really feel like, or egg whites. I'm like, I don't really feel like cooking them. I'm like, I'll separate them myself and eat them. If you all can see my face right now.
Yeah, this video's coming in 2023. I can't wait to put out the video because no offense, but if you don't know Becca, she has every single thought that she is feeling, she wears it on her face, and you know how she feels about you.
Yeah, you can make a calendar out of my facial expressions. But yeah, that's disgusting. So anyways, whoever watched Rocky and did exactly what he did, I feel for you, and I'm sorry because it's disgusting.
I'll do it tonight.
All right, when you get sick in the morning, I'm just going to hop out of bed.
I remember, I could swear they said that if you buy eggs from the grocery store, that's not going to happen. It's more of the eggs that you have to worry about that you're getting from, like...
Your own chickens?
Yeah.
I feel like that should be the opposite.
Well, yeah, they say that stuff that's on the egg is supposed to keep it clean. I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah, I'm not going to try it.
But anyway, we get the famous raw egg scene. We get shots of him running through Philadelphia. We get the first scene of him going up the art house. I mean, the art museum stairs or whatever, and he's holding on his ribs and stuff like that. Which, no offense, every time I try to run, why your ribs got to hurt so much? It sucks.
Well, yeah, we already had a conversation.
We had a conversation while watching the movie.
Yeah.
But it's just like, God damn it, man. I mean, it fucking sucks.
It sucks. Shin splints suck, too.
Oh, yeah. Shin splints do suck.
Like.
Shit, the day we went to New York, we did all that walking. My feet.
Oh, my gosh. Yes. I could have cried. My feet hurt. So
my feet hurt for a month.
Oh yeah, you were huffing and puffing about that for a while.
No, really. Like my feet were swollen.
Your feet were not swollen.
Whatever. My feet.
I'm gonna start to document these little details so I can be like, pan over, look at the pics.
I'm just saying, that feet literally hurt for like a month. Like the tops of my feet were so like I could feel my tendon move.
That's because you didn't wear your good footwear.
I wear my Vans. Footwear I own is Vans.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely Vans for everything type person, but not to walk around New York for 12 hours. No, I wear my tennis shoes, and my feet still hurt. But yeah, so he's running, he's getting it. You get to, and then this is the point where Adrian surprises him, right? So essentially, he's like really busy training and stuff like that.
Not just yet because he. After he's running, he makes it back to Polly's work. We get the famous meat packing boxing scene where he's beating up on the meat as a
which literally my first comment, speaking of salmonella, was like, ew, and now he's gonna go touch something with his hands and put it in his mouth or whatever. And
he didn't put anything in his mouth. I mean, obviously he cleaned his hands.
I'm just saying realistically.
Yeah. Well, it's also in his refrigerator. They're in a refrigerator.
Okay, so I'm sorry, but if I go touch the ground beef in our fridge right now and then pop my finger in my mouth for some god-awful reason, you think I'm just not going to get food poisoning or any?
I don't think.
You think the potential's less? You think the potential is lessened simply because the meat is in the fridge?
Well, people
do you hear that?
People here in Maryland eat raw hamburger.
Yes, people do that. Should they? Probably not. But
it's like what? Pepper and eggs. Pepper and onions and raw hamburger meat. That's like
yes, that's a real thing. My grandma does it. Disgusting, but I would never do it. But I'm just saying, logistically, No.
But then we get the little funny scene where it's like, because he gets pissed off and he starts hitting it and whatever, and then because he's arguing with Paulie, and he says it's like, you do that Apollo Queen to put us away for murder.
Oh yeah.
It sounds so funny with the way he says it. I don't know. I wrote it down.
Like I duly noted that. But yeah, so he and essentially the thing is though, I mean, one of our dogs farted. But I mean, technically it's a very good technique because if you can break through the muscle and break the ribs of an animal carcass, I'm sure you could break the ribs of a human.
Yeah,
I mean, technically. So I guess it is very good practice besides the like sanitary portion of it.
Yeah. But,
and probably very hard to breathe in there. So it's good
oh,
for
no,
your cardiovascular.
you're probably right about that. Yeah. But yeah, then Mickey, then we get tips where we get cuts back to the gym, and he's actually doing a legit boxing technique, and Mickey gives him some tips to help with his footwork. It's funny is these girls come up to give Rocky's autograph, and he's like, get away from here, you girls with your little chicken asses. It's like, what?
Yeah, he just seems like some grumpy gym rat old man.
Yeah.
He's an interesting character.
But then now we're at where
Adrian and then because obviously like I'm sure he's very busy training and stuff.
Yeah.
Adrian understands that, but she still wants to see him, and so she goes by and surprises him with butt kiss. She gives him butt kiss so he can have a running partner.
Yeah, and then also like Adrian is like now like she ain't got her glasses on. She got this pretty nice little red coat on. She's more
like outward now. Before like Rocky was working really, really hard to like talk to her, chase after her, and now she's up to par. Yeah, essentially.
And it's funny because she makes a little joke too, where she's like, "What's he eat?" She's like, "He eats little turtles."
Yeah.
But yeah. Another funny thing is a lot of the wardrobe in the movie is actually an actress's real wardrobe because they didn't really have a wardrobe budget for the movie. So I'm sure like her outfit, like that is her coat. Those are her hats and stuff like that she wears in the movie and stuff. But we get more shots of Rocky running around with butt kiss and stuff like that throughout Philadelphia and whatever. I don't think this is when I think that's more than the montage. Yeah, I think that's during the montage scene.
Where he's just doing all of his prep essentially.
Yeah, but Buckus isn't in those scenes, I don't think. But when I think
this is the tail end as it's wavering off.
But news shows up. The news shows up to Paulie's work. Basically, Paulie has conned Rocky into coming back and doing his training with the meat bags
and essentially like. Rocky's very skeptical of the news people at first.
Which he should be because they kind of did him dirty on that first interview.
Yeah. So, like, I think the first thing he says, he's like, you guys going to left hook me or something like that?
He's like, I was fine. Just don't take any cheap shots or whatever. And she's like, oh, don't worry about that, Rocky.
Yeah. She's like, just come over here. Just come over here and talk. As they're just in a, like, legit meat plant.
Yeah. No, really. Legit. Yeah.
And she like shoos Paulie off behind
he's like in the back. She's
carcass.
Like, hold on a second. The fat guy's still in the background. He's like,
she's like, you move over here.
Yeah. But then we get the really cool scene where like, obviously he's breaking the ribs and stuff like that. He's going to town on it. The meat bag per se. And then we see Paulo is too busy doing logistic stuff for the event.
And
he's not even
people
training
stuff, and
I'm not saying he's not training completely, but obviously while Rocky's training and working hard, he's doing more glam stuff. And then we see kind of idea of where his coach is like, hey, you should be worried about this guy.
Yeah, because his coach is sitting there watching the news thing on TV while Apollo's in the background ordering flowers for someone's mother, making sure his barber goes to Philadelphia, and all that kind of side stuff that really has nothing to do with the fight. It's just all appearance.
Yeah, but now is when we get into this is the most iconic part of Rocky is the montage.
Yeah,
like you think about montages, and Rocky has one of the I will say this movie has one of the most inspirational montages without it being cheesy. This one actually is a great montage. Like him training, him running through the streets of Philadelphia, him doing his one-arm push-ups. We get the full length of the soundtrack, the full version of Gonna Fly Now. And the song just progressively just keeps on going and going. And it builds up and builds up. And then towards the end, you get the Gonna Fly Now.
Yeah.
Flying high now. Flying high.
You done?
Oh, God. I'm telling you, that gets me so freaking pumped
gets you
up.
going?
Yeah. Yes.
Logan's about to go run a mile
fantastic.
right now.
No, it's that
You're like,
song,
absolutely not, but
no,
I like
I'm just saying
song.
that song is so freaking good. It
Yeah.
makes me so excited. It's beautiful. It's
can
beautiful.
tell.
Beautifully. I mean, and
Yeah.
just I don't know if it's like also with like the imagery and stuff like that. Watching him do like the one arm push ups, him running, and then you see him like really kicking into high gear, high legs, and just fucking going at it by the docks. Oh, and then the scene, which a lot of this, I think, I don't know if I told you earlier, but like I said, when I said earlier, like this was a lot of guerrilla style when he's out there running and like the meat packing.
What style?
Guerrilla style.
You
That's
elaborate.
a real style. It's where you're like filming something without permits. It's kind of like illegal.
Oh, okay.
It's like when people are.
I thought you meant a trading style.
No.
I was like, where are you going with that?
Like unconventional.
Okay,
So,
okay.
So
I got it.
yeah, but like there's that.
Sorry to interrupt your fire.
But the funny part is like when he's running through like the food district, whatever you want to call it, whatever. There's a guy like
The meatpacking district.
meatpacking district where like there's a guy. People are staring at the camera and they're like, "What's going on?" Because they didn't know what was going on. Literally, Sylvester Stallone was just running, and this one guy throws him an orange, and he catches it. Or apple or orange, whatever. He catches it, and that makes it into the film. Like that literally was not scheduled. That was just pure like just so happened. And then the guy gets happy that he calls like, "Oh yeah!" I don't know. It was great.
I didn't know that. I thought it was all.
No. But yeah, oh my God, that song. I fucking love it. Oh.
That's gonna be on replay on Logan's playlist. Now.
You know, I should add
Gym
it
playlist.
to my Spotify playlist.
You should. You go for it.
I have a weird like Spotify playlist of random songs. But then it cuts to now it's the night before the fight.
Yeah, and this part actually, like, I agree with Rocky. So he goes to the arena and he's just like taking it all in because this is a pivotal moment for Rocky. And he gets there and his damn banner, the shorts aren't right. The shorts are not right.
Here you go. And here's the thing is, so that was prop department accident.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about for the movie, not even for the, like,
I know what you're talking about.
not fictional. And Sylvester Stallone was like, okay, well, shit, we can't get them to make a whole new banner. He's like, well, how about we'll put a scene together. So he wrote a scene together to explain it.
But yeah, I would be equally upset. You got him matching perfectly fine. His outfit's right. And you got me, the underdog, with the mismatched shorts.
The promoter, he's like, does it really matter?
Yeah.
No, I'm saying like that lets
I
you
know.
know.
Yeah. They don't really care about him. It's just entertainment. Yes.
Yeah.
There's tons of hints, especially from the promoter, that like this is just promoting. This is just entertainment. But I'd be like, yeah, you better fix it.
Yeah.
No, thank you. He's not gonna be up there in the right outfit and me being in the wrong outfit. So I'm with Rocky on that one.
Well, also, it's funny. Oh, we're going to go back to the song real quick. The song part, I didn't say it, but like, so when they were trying to come up with the name of the song, he wrote the song. He didn't have the name of it yet, and like when they were like describing the song and how it built up, and
It's like me trying to Google a song.
the guy was like, at this point in the song, Rocky should be flying. Just was formatively.
Yeah.
What's the word I'm looking for?
Like theoretically, or no, not theoretically. Figuratively.
Yeah, whatever. You know, like and that's where they came up with the idea is going to fly now. Whichever one.
Obviously, they didn't mean literally flying.
But that's the funny.
CGI him, put him on an eagle.
Well, that's the thing is like when you ask people about the Rocky song, 9 times out of 10. Someone's going to say, the tiger, right? which doesn't come out till the third movie. Anyone who watches movie understands that. But the average movie goer who does not pay attention to the franchise is, what's the Rocky song? That's Eye of the Tiger by Survivor. No, it's Gonna Fly Now. That's the Rocky song. But people associate, Eye of the Tiger or whatever. But
yes. Are we done with the song?
Yes, I'm sorry.
Honey,
I love that I love that song so much.
I know, I can tell.
All right, go ahead.
So anyway, so he tells him like it's the wrong poster, and the promoter guy's like, okay, your point, who cares? And then Rocky makes his way back to his apartment, and you can kind of tell like he's having some doubts.
Yeah.
This is all setting in now. Like,
well, he makes it clear, like, hits in his head. He's like, I'm not going to beat Apollo. That's just not going to happen.
That's not his goal.
He's the best, and he understands he's the best. Like, it's like it doesn't make it. One thing I think I would have liked to see a little bit more of seeing Rocky, I guess, know a little bit more, like showing more passion into boxing.
Yeah.
Like, I guess if we could have like pursued that a little bit more and see, like, I don't know if I'm asking for too much, but I'm just saying I would have liked to see him, like, see, I guess, a little bit more like in like him personally looking into boxing.
Like drive, passion for it.
Yeah. But yes, he knows he's not going to beat Apollo because Apollo's the best. But the thing is like he just, at this point of his life, people just make him out to be a bum.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm not. And he's like, I don't care that I know I'm not going to win. But he's like, my goal is to last the distance because no one's ever done that to Apollo. To go the distance. And no one's ever done that with Apollo. And he's like, that's what I want to do. And then they will know I'm not just some bum from the neighborhood.
Yeah, he's just trying to like make a name for himself, prove himself essentially, and even if he is an underdog, prove that he is like a worthy underdog essentially.
Yeah. But then it's the fight. The day of the fight, we see the prep of them getting into what goes on behind the scenes before a fight starts. It's funny where we see, which is another thing. Apparently, when they made the robe for Rocky, for
the Italian Stallion.
Yeah, the Italian Stallion. When they made the robe for Sylvester Stallone, they got the dimensions wrong, so his robe is hysterically like humongous.
Yeah.
And so he makes jokes about it. He's like he didn't want anyone saying anything about it. So what he did was he added it into the script. Where like, hey, he's like, hey, you think my robe's too big? Like I like this robe. It's a little big. He says it like 5 times in that course of like
Same
2
thing
minutes.
with the locker.
But that was another little funny little thing. And then they wanted to give the appearance of it being a big time theater, like an amphitheater or whatever, for the ring and stuff like that. But obviously they couldn't afford that, so they used the stock footage of actual real fight, which you can tell when it happens. But it doesn't. Don't get me wrong. It doesn't take me away from the movie.
Yeah.
Like I like those scenes. I think they look pretty. I like it. Like I think it looks cool. I like it. So no harm, no foul here. I don't care about that.
Yeah, and ultimately, like Rocky's just. I think you may have already said this. Like he's not even going to bet on who's going to win. Obviously,
of course he's not going to be.
It's fighting, so everyone's betting and who thinks who's going to win, and he's just like truly just like along for the ride.
Oh yeah,
like.
And it was funny because like earlier in the movie, Paulie brings up. He was like, hey, after they had their fight because we didn't talk. We didn't talk about fight, but whatever. Him and Adrian get into this big fight where then you see Adrian come out of her shell, and yell like,
and stand up. She has that like Rocky breakdown herself.
Yeah,
like the breakdown that he had with Mickey, she has it with Paulie.
I don't owe you nothing.
Yeah, and like how he always treats her like whatever, and Paulie's like, I have to take care of you. You can't live on your own. This and it's like literally like Christmas Eve or something. Like, but Paulie just like busted in.
Something like that. Yeah,
busted in on Adrian and Rocky hanging out and just like loses his shit. And then Adrian finally like at the end of it is like looking for a roommate.
Yeah.
So that, and then you see that kind of evolve, and then that kind of just falls off essentially.
Yeah. You
see some like kind of divide with Rocky because Paulie is his best friend, but then like he really loves Adrian.
Oh yeah, 100%.
So it's that shitty position of like, well, whose side am I on? Like, who am I supposed to support?
Well, he's definitely on Adrian's side, but he understands like
Paulie's under a lot of stress. Yeah, and
Paulie's shit basically.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like they're getting we've already seen them get ready for the fight. Now they're going to start making their way to the ring. Paulie has put the big old banner on his back for the meat packing plant that he works for.
He's like, are you a billboard? Are you advertising? Like so many people make comments about
which Paulie gets like $3,000 something like that for doing that.
Yeah.
I was like, I was telling Becca, I was like, shit, that's a lot of money for, the 70s. She's like, that's a lot of money for now.
Yeah. In today's economy, yes, it is. I'll put something on my car if you give me $3,000 every time I drive it somewhere. Which is really, actually, I never drive my car. But
but yeah, then once again, I bring it up again. We see him make his way to the ring, and who's there? But Mr. Gazzo there, front row, just like he said. He's like, "Are you going to make it to the fight?" Earlier in the movie, he's like, "I'm going to be the front row."
Yeah,
and there he is. And, oh God, I don't know. I like that so much.
Oh yeah, it's good to see someone support Rocky because Rocky seems to support everyone else around him, and it seems like everyone else around him kind of supports him, but with a hidden agenda, kind of sort of like Mickey wants to be his coach because he's about to fight Apollo Creed, like. Paulie is his friend, but then I feel like you said, Paulie kind of has like a little bit of a hidden agenda, but they are truly friends. But like Mr. Gazzo, like he works for Mr. Gazzo, and like that's it. He's not expecting anything else out of Rocky, essentially. Yeah. So it's good to see someone, outside of Adrian, just support Rocky. Yeah, that's in
his corner from day one. Yeah, you know what I mean. Like you can definitely tell, like he is, he's a very supportive character in the movie, even though he's a very small character, but very supportive. We get in.
Freaking Apollo enters the.
I love that
fight.
I think it's great.
It's ridiculous.
I think it's great.
I mean, it's fitting, but it's
I want you. I want the Italian stallion. I want you.
And he's he's decked out to the nines, and he also tries to kiss Philly's ass when he's like, "I feel the freedom here in Philly. It feels free here." Yeah. Whatever the hell he's saying. It's like, okay, whatever. You're here for a fight. You don't give a shit what Philly feels like, probably.
But yeah, I don't know. He's a great showman. I love his character. And this, I don't know. It's on par, and I think
he's putting on a show.
He's not a mean
you don't
guy.
hate him, but he truly embodies the whole yes, he's a good fighter, but he's also in it for the wow factor, in it for the entertainment. He truly is putting on a show.
Yeah,
that is him putting on a show.
Yeah.
And he also thought this was just going to be a one and done fight. We'll go a couple rounds.
He thinks that Rocky thinks he understands where he's in. He thinks Rocky knows it's a show. Yeah. And then Rocky's like,
no, I'm trying to go as long as I can.
Yeah. No.
Two different agendas
Rocky's here with an agenda. Yeah. You know what I mean? And he is he is to prove himself. And that's what he wants to do.
And they even say that after a few rounds, Apollo's like, what are you doing? Yeah. What are you doing? Stop.
Yeah. And then he sets down, and his coach is like, he's like, he doesn't know it's a show. You need to end this so we can go home.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which he can't. That's the thing. He can't end it. He can't knock him out.
Literally, Rocky just keeps going and going and going and going and going and going. So, I forget how many rounds they ended up going.
Seriously, I know MMA.
Why they had the numbers up? But they even switched showgirls.
16 rounds? I can't remember.
Something like that.
But
card girls.
I can't remember if it's 16 rounds or whatever. I just remember. I know MMA's 3, or if it's title fights 5. Unless they changed them, I don't know.
Yeah.
But or if it's a title fight, or if it's the main event, I think they switch it to the main events get 5 rounds or whatever.
Yeah. I think it's 3 minutes each.
Yeah. Boxing's a little bit different. I can't remember though.
But either way, they go forever. Someone should just called it, gave up, whatever.
Well, the cool thing is, so the stunt choreographer that they had for the movie ended up leaving due to difference of seeing difference.
Yeah,
with the manager, and you know what I mean.
Not seeing eye to eye.
Yeah. So, and they were practicing the scene, and it was feeling so fake. And the director was like, "We whatever we're doing is not working because it looks bad. Yeah, it looks bad." And And at this point in time, like I said, Sylvester Stallone is on par to be the writer throughout the entire franchise. I mean, sorry, throughout the entire movie, and he doesn't get paid any extra for writing the additional scripts. So he's like, whatever y'all are doing now, it's not working. What I need you to do is I need you to go home and I need you to map out the fight. And by map out the fight, I mean Sylvester Stallone went home that night, and I think he wrote up 50 something pages or so, almost 50 pages of he actually wrote out the scene verbatim, including punches, dodges, and everything. And then him and Carl Weathers practice it. Yeah. So he came up with the fight choreography himself and wrote out the fights. And then him and Carl Weathers spent like 35 hours or so practicing it. Yeah. And that's why the movie, it looks good. I will say, like, unfortunately, if you ever watch a boxing event, boxing events a lot of times are more boring than watching a movie.
Well, one thing
but it
is,
still looks good.
But not only that, so you notice, like, Rocky gets his face bust open and starts bleeding pretty early in the fight. He hits on Apollo, and Apollo ain't even bleeding. Well, like, it's not until, like, the 4th or 5th round where Apollo just suddenly, the camera pans over to him, and he's, like, just gushing all over the place. And it's like, okay, in reality, he would have started bleeding by now.
Well, but if you look at it, if you pay attention to the movie... I know you did. I'm saying when he's training... They trained him on body shots. Yeah. That was his goal, was to break Apollo through the body. And that's the thing is, that at the end, if Rocky would have had like 10 more seconds, Apollo was going to get knocked down. Yeah. I mean, Apollo was going to lose. Yeah,
they both were like stumbling around at that point.
Because he had broke at that last round. He basically... breaks Apollo, and Apollo gets saved by the bell. Like, he would have lost.
Yeah, essentially. And not only that, like, damn it, Rocky, put your hands up.
Yeah, that's the thing. Oh my God, he gets hit in the face so many fucking times.
And his hands are just down below his chin.
Oh my God. It's hard to watch.
It makes me want to scream at the TV. Like when your kid plays a sport and you're just trying to get them to listen to you. Put your hands up. Put your hands up. What are you doing? Yeah, so that's two quirks. Like, one, I'm like, put your damn hands up. And two, like, why is Apollo not bleeding yet? He's been whacked in the face several times now, and he's like A-okay, and Rocky's over there getting his slice and dice on his eyes and gushing blood. Yeah.
Cut me, Mick.
Yeah, the cut man or whatever.
He has to cut his eye open so he could, because the swelling's so bad, so he can see.
Yeah, and then it suddenly pans over, and Apollo's like all like swollen up like a balloon. I'm like, no, that did not happen just in one round.
Well, of course it did. It takes
I'm saying
time
they
for
should have
swelling to happen.
evolved it a little bit more.
Yeah, but if you've seen the movie, you've seen the movie. But basically, long story short, throughout the fight,
long story long, since we've talked about it now for a while.
But anyway, we get to the end, and there we are. It's a split decision, and basically Rocky has lost. But deep down, he's won in himself because he did what he wanted to do.
He went more rounds than anybody.
Yeah, and then the movie just ends. You
get him yelling, Adrian, Adrian.
Yeah, and the second one when he wins, he's always like, "We did it!"
Yeah.
Second one's so good. Second one it's oh my God, it's so because Adrian gets sick and he refuses to fight because he needs to be by her side. Yeah, and it isn't until she gets better. So there's a lot of that training he doesn't get to train. So it's like very little bit to the end after she gets better that he starts training and he's able to beat him, and he actually does beat Apollo in the second one. But yeah, I mean it's fantastic. I mean, this movie, I cannot say enough. This movie is great. It is phenomenal. I love this movie. It is so freaking good.
I really enjoy it. It's a good one. And it's a good franchise.
Oh, and I can't see. That's the thing. People sleep on it. The average moviegoer who does not pay attention, I'm not saying, not shitting on them, but it's Academy Award win. It's a good movie. It's not. Once we get into the third and fourth one, people forget the respect for the first one.
Yeah, the origin story.
Such a good. It's a love story. It's got great directing. Once again, back to the sound. Beautiful soundtrack, and it is phenomenal. Just the story
Yeah.
is phenomenal. I don't know. I don't know. I feel like when people like that listen to the podcast are like, does Logan not like anything? Because all I say is great things about everything that we watch.
I feel like I don't like anything.
But the thing is, like, I don't really want to waste time talking about stuff that I don't like. You know what I mean? I feel like there's too much negative.
The Shining.
I feel like there's too much negative shit in the world to spend time on bitching and complaining about something you don't like.
I do it enough for the both of us. Just kidding. But yeah, no, I mean, I agree with that. And I feel like you're more, or anyone is just more entertaining and authentic when they're talking about something that they really, really like and really, really enjoy. But there's been some that you're like indifferent to. I forget which ones, but
I don't know. Like, I mean, most so far the movies that we've talked about, I do enjoy all of them. All of them I enjoy. But yeah, it's, you know, I think this was something that they captured lightning in a bottle and they ran with it, and it is a very good franchise.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I said, the only one that's not that great is the fifth one, and it's still not bad.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I definitely really enjoyed it, and I definitely enjoy the series and what has come of the series, you know, going into Creed and things like that. It's Sylvester Stallone did a really, really great job and earned a very, very well-deserved name for himself.
Yeah. I haven't seen we haven't seen the third Creed, but we watched Creed 2 the other day. Good movie. I was good.
Yeah.
Had a good message.
Did we watch Creed 2 or
we
the
watched
original?
Creed 2.
Oh,
No, we watched Creed 2.
We watched the original.
No. We watched the sequel.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
That's pretty much it for Rocky. But
would you watch it again?
oh yeah,
Cool.
We've watched it several times.
I know.
Now.
I'm just saying, like that's the thing is like that's when you know something is a good movie is if you're willing to watch it again. That's when it like if you see it on TV and you leave it on.
Yeah.
That's how you know something's good.
In my opinion, the scale of when something's really, really good is when you can leave it on and it just be background noise.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like all my favorite TV shows. But yeah, so thank you guys for listening to Rocky. We, as always, are so excited to talk to you guys about anything, whether we like it, love it, or hate it. Even though Logan's always going to love it, as he already stated. But yeah, thank you guys. We appreciate it.
Oh yeah, thank you. And if you're following us on social media, I greatly appreciate it. Thank you very much. If you haven't followed us yet, check out our socials. We're on Instagram, Facebook, anywhere you get your podcasts, you can find us. Please like, share, and subscribe.
Oh yeah, and YouTube.
YouTube. Like I said, 2023, we're going to get video, but you can still listen to us on YouTube. Like and subscribe. That would really help us out if you listen to us on any kind of
if you're
podcasting.
a techie person, you understand the algorithms. So
yes. Anything.
Help some peeps out.
Yeah, anything, any kind of 5-star review that you can give us anywhere that you listen to a podcast, it will help people who are not aware of us become more aware of us.
Yeah.
By some way of algorithms.
Yes.
But yeah, I thank you for listening to episode 8
of Video Villa Podcast. Bye.